Hello student. So let's see the sternum. In Ayurveda, sternum it is called the urosti. So sternum it is the flat bone, it forming the anterior median portion of the chest wall. Then the shape of the sternum it is resemblance to the sword. That is the upper part it is seems to like the handle of the sword, so that is called the manubrium. Then the middle part it is seems like the blade of the sword, so that is called the body. And the lower short tapering part it is resemblance to that the tip of the sword, so that is called the xiphoid process. The length of the sternum that is near about 17 centimeter, and it is longer in male than the female. So let's see that is the details of the sternum. So here in this diagram you can see that is the sternum, and sternum it is divided into that the three part. This is the upper part called the manubrium sterni, then the middle part it is called the body, and the lowermost part it is called the xiphoid process. So let's see that is the manubrium. So manubrium it is the quadrilateral in shape, and it is thickest and the strongest part of the sternum. Then it have the two surfaces, that is this is the anterior surface, and opposite to it that is the posterior surface, and the four borders. This is the superior border, this is the inferior border, and this is the right and the left lateral border. Then anterior surface. So anterior surface it is convex from side to side and concave from the above downwards. Then the posterior surface. So the posterior surface it is concave and forms the anterior boundary of the superior mediastinum. Then the superior border, so this one. So the superior border it is thick, rounded and concave. So here you can see this one. Then it is marked by the suprasternal notch. So this one, the suprasternal notch it is also called jugular notch or the interclavicular notch. Then the clavicular notch that should be present on the both lateral side of that the manubrium sterni. So here and here, that is the medial end of the clavicle that should be attached to form the sternoclavicular joint. Then the inferior border. So the inferior border it forms the secondary cartilaginous joint with the body of the sternum. The manubrium makes the slight angle with that the body, and it directed convex forward. So that is called the sternal angle, or that is also called the angle of Lewis. Then the lateral border. So this one. So the lateral border it forms the primary cartilaginous joint with the first costal cartilage. So here you can see on the both side. Okay? And it present a demifacet for the synovial articulation with the upper part of the second costal cartilage. So here. Then let's see that is the body of the sternum. The body. So the body it is longer, narrower and thinner than the manubrium, and it is widest close to its the lower end. So here. Then and the most widest part that should be present where that is the articulation of the fifth costal cartilage is attached. Then it has two surfaces, that is the anterior surface, and opposite to it that is the posterior surface, and the two ends, that is the upper end and this is the lower end. Then the borders, that is the two borders, that is this is the right lateral border and this is the left lateral border. So let's see that is the anterior surface. So the anterior surface it is nearly flat and it is directed forwards and slightly upwards. Then it is marked by the three ill-defined lines. So here, or the transverse ridges that indicates the lines of the fusion of the four small segments that is called the sternibrae. So that is first, second, third and the fourth. Then the posterior surface. So here in this diagram you can see this is the posterior surface. So posterior surface, it is slightly concave and it is marked by the less distinct transverse lines. Then lateral border. So these are right lateral border and the left lateral border. So it forms the synovial joints with the lower part of the second costal cartilage, the third to sixth costal cartilage, and the upper half of the seventh costal cartilage. So here in this diagram you can see that is the body, and here that is the half part of the second costal cartilage, then third to sixth costal cartilage, and the part of the seventh costal cartilage. Then the upper end, it forms the secondary cartilaginous joint with the manubrium to form the sternal angle, or that is called the angle of Lewis. Then the lower end, it is narrow and forms the primary cartilaginous joints with the xiphisternum. Then let's see that is the xiphoid process. So this one, the lower part. So the xiphoid process, it is a smallest part of the sternum and it is first cartilaginous, but in the adult it becomes ossified near the upper end, and it is varies greatly in different shape. It may be bifid or it may be perforated, and it lies in the floor of the epigastric fossa. So that is the sternum. After then, let's see that is the attachment of the sternum. So attachment of the manubrium. So this one. So the anterior surface, it gives the origin of the pectoralis major muscle. So this one on the lateral side of the manubrium sterni. Then on the medial side, there is the origin of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. That is the sternal head of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Then the posterior surface here, that is the posterior surface, it gives origin of the sternoid on the upper side and the sternothyroid on the lower side. Then this part is also related with the brachiocephalic vein, the brachiocephalic artery, common carotid artery, left subclavian artery, and it is also related with the lung and the pleura. Then the suprasternal notch. So this one. So it gives attachment to the lower fiber of interclavicular ligament. This one. And the margin of this one, the clavicular notch, it gives the attachment of both sides. It gives the attachment of capsular ligament of the sternoclavicular joint. So this one. Then let's see that is the attachment of the body. So anterior surface of the body, it gives origin of the pectoralis major muscle. This one. Then the posterior surface. So this is. So the lower part of the posterior surface, it gives the origin on each either side, that is the sternocostalis muscle. So this one. These are. Then on right side of the median plane. So this one on the right side. And on the posterior surface, it is related with the anterior border of the right lung and the pleura. And on the left side, so this area, the upper two pieces of the body are related to the lung and the pleura, so in this region, and the lower part, it is related with the pericardium, this one. Then the between the facets for the articulation with that the costal cartilage, so on the both side, the lateral border provide the attachment of the external intercostal membranes and the internal intercostal muscle. Then the attachment of the xiphoid process. So that is the posterior surface. So the attachment, the anterior surface, this one, it gives insertion to the median fibers of the rectus abdominis. And you know rectus abdominis, that is the muscle of the abdomen. And it also gives the aponeurosis of the external and the internal oblique muscle of the abdomen. Then the posterior surface. So the posterior surface, it gives origin to that the diaphragm. and it is also related with the anterior surface of the liver. Then this is the lateral border. So lateral border, it gives the attachment of aponeurosis of internal oblique and the transverse abdominis muscle. And the upper end fibers a primary cartilaginous joints with the body of the sternum. So here. Then the lower end affords the attachment of the linea alba. So here on the anterior side. So these are the attachments related with the sternum. The ossification of the sternum. So the sternum that should be ossified from the 5 primary cartilaginous center. So that is appear from above downwards during the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and the 9th month in intrauterine life. The upper center, it should be form the manubrium, and the other center it form the 4 sternebrae, that is 1st, 2nd, 3rd and the 4th, that is 4th sternebrae. And these sternebrae, they are fused with each other from below to upward during the puberty. Then the fusion of that the sternebrae, it should be completed at the age of the 25 year. That the manubrial sternum joint, this one, it is a secondary cartilaginous joint and it persists throughout the life. And the center for the xiphoid process, this one, it appears during the 3rd year or it may be later, and it fuses with the body about the 40 years. So that is the ossification. Then the clinical point related with the sternum. So the sternal puncture, so this one. So it is the procedure which is done into that the manubrium sterni for the extraction or the aspiration of the bone marrow, because this part it is subcutaneous and it can be easily accessible for the bone marrow for the hematological examination. Then the next clinical point, that is the funnel chest, or that is called the pectus excavatum. So it is the abnormal shape of the thoracic cage in which the chest it is compressed antero-posteriorly. So here you can see that is the compression of the chest. And the sternum it is pushed backwards by the overgrowth of the ribs and it may be compresses that the heart. So this is the heart. Then the opposite to it, that is the Pigeon chest. So this one. So that is called the pectus carinatum. So it is the abnormal shape of the thoracic cage in which the chest it is compressed from side to side and the sternum projects forwards and downwards like the keel of the boat. So that is called the Pigeon chest. Next to it, the next point, that is the mid sternotomy. So to gain access to that the manubrium for the surgical operation on the heart and the great blood vessels, the sternum is often divided by the median plane. So it should be cut by the median plane, and this cutting of that the sternum, it is called the mid sternotomy. Then the next clinical point, that is the sternal fracture. So it is very much common in the automobile accident, that is when the driver chest it is hit against the steering wheel, the sternum it is oftenly fractured at the sternal angle and the backward displacement of the fracture fragment may be damage the aorta, heart or liver and causes the severe bleeding which may be prove fatal, or it can occur the death of the patient due to the heavy bleeding. So these are the clinical point related with that the sternum.